Welcome back to the garage, guys. Today we finally get to do it. The last couple of videos I've been teasing about some fabricating that I'm doing, and I haven't done much fabricating, but the truth of the matter is I'm trying to make these videos kind of make a logical order. So I try to start with the cage and did a couple of videos on building the halo, and same thing with the paint on the inside, as well as the rock mat and the sound deadening, and so I'm trying to kind of take a logical path down this build. So I've actually been working on this light bar for quite a while, and just you might have seen it, peeking here and there in the various videos, but today we actually get to do it. Today we're building the light bar for the Bug. Now last week I would let the cat out of the bag as far as the orientation of the lights. Nothing too special, but it's something I never saw before, something unique, and I kind of like the look. But today we're going to try to make that orientation of the lights workable in a light bar. So without any further ado, let's get right on into it. First, I took some time to clean up the garage a bit. I know I'm going to be working with metal today, and space is going to be at a premium. I pulled out the bender and installed the new 1 1/4 inch die. Also took the time to clean up a bit and rub some grease and WD-40 into the bender and to both dies to protect them from rust. And then I broke out the lights and made sure that the paper cutouts I made Then after measuring the windshield area again, and I'm going to do this a couple times as I work things out in my mind. Sometimes you just need to confirm what you know. Then I started working out the spacing on the lights. Somewhat satisfied with the layout I had planned, I got out the tube and started bending my first piece. This is where the first hiccup revealed itself. Now if my face looks concerned, I was. That radius is too big. Way too big. Maybe if I bend a second tube, it'll be different, because it wasn't a full 180. Yeah, what do you know? Same huge radius. That's way too much gap between the lights and the light bar. Alright, so I'm making the light bar for the top of the Bug. My goal was to have 6 lights across the top and space them about an inch apart. Now I ordered a die 6.5. The reason I did that is so that they got a 4.5 inch die or 4.5 inch radius on the light itself. 6.5 is supposed to be 2 more. I purposely didn't go with a 5.5. When I was figuring out what die I wanted, I actually drew it out. And if you take a look at this, that's about the distance it's supposed to be. So 6.5 minus the 5/8 of an inch. I should have, the inside edge of the bend, because the 6.5 is to the center of the tube. And so the thought was going to have a lot less of a gap, but that's a freaking monster gap. I'm not okay with that. I'm trying to figure out how I can rectify it and tighten up this bend without getting a new die, because dies are expensive, and I've already got 1 1/4 inch. I don't want to buy another 1 1/4 inch, so I'm going to just double check everything, see if they fit. So again, it's like an 2 inch gap, 1.5 inches maybe. I only wanted like a 1/2 inch. 1.5 inches. With the light in there, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still too much. Alright, so I got a drop piece that I bent first. But then I'm going to take slices out I know this is sketchy as crap. This is not a structural piece per se. All it does is protect the lights. But if I could tighten up this bend by cutting and then just like using a ratchet strap or something just to pull it in, that might be the way to do this and save this piece. Yeah, I really want it to be a little tighter. Well, let's see what happens and we'll go from there. Okay, so that actually worked pretty well. In fact, it worked too well. That's when I realized, just as I could tighten the bend, I could also open it up as well. So I took the time to custom fit, if you want to call it that, the bend to the cutout. Notice I'm just eyeballing it right now. This is just me messing around and testing things out. Then I welded everything up and ground down the new hoop. This is what I did. I basically just sliced and bent, and I'm just kind of messing around trying to get how much tighter I need to get. And that's a little too tight, but much better. So as you guys saw, I did a slice every inch, and that made it super tight, which I do like the tightness of it, and it does match more or less the radius of the light. But I did want a little extra room around the corners at this point because it didn't work. These are drops, so now it's just me experimenting what I need to get the radius I want. So obviously a thing every 1 inch is no space at all, and my goal was to have about 1 inch of space, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another bend here on that side, and I'm going to cut it every 2 inches and re-bend everything and see how that works out. All right, so you just saw I just cut all it up at 2 inch intervals and then bent it into a tighter turn. See what happens. All right, I like it. Now it's going to be a little tighter because of that over there, but now I know 2 inch is what is needed to make that work. And look how tight that's going to be around the light. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Are you... My guy, bring me toys. No boxes for me today. It's always a little disappointing. Now I will say, you know what's the ultimate letdown though? When the UPS guy shows up and then walks across the street the other way. Ooh, because you're like, oh, what am I getting? And then, you know, it's like, really, dude? Had to do that? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it every 2 inches. But this time, I'm going to bend it all the way to this point, and that will actually bring this tube inward just a skosh. And you'll see what I'll do with that later with the light. So I am super happy that this is going to work. This is going to work, I hope. You know, more like... Anyway, so, all right, back to it. Let's see what happens. This time around, I'm marking the tube before it's bent. This way, I know that the cut marks are true to the tube and that they're all uniform. That way, when I slice it up, the slices will be exactly similar, which should, theoretically, lead to a cleaner finished product. After redrawing some of the lines after bending, I started slicing, being extra careful to cut along the lines. Then I tightened the bends and tacked them into place. All right, guys. So I did what I said I was going to do. Basically bent them up. Then I cut a slice every 2 inches. Just the thickness of the cutoff wheel. Bent that up. I'm using these. It's not going to stay this way. It would be kind of cool. It looks like kind of like a stormtrooper at that point. But anyway, all right. So let's put it up on the bug and see if we have the right width. All right, that is the right width. I am very pleased with that. Let's take a look at the actual measurement. 41. What did we need? 43. Whew. So yeah, I'll have about a 1/2 inch between each of the lights if I do all 6 across. But anyway, this is good. So I am going to go ahead and start welding up these. And yeah, let's take it to there. Actually, let's do something real quick. I got out the light and to see how it lines up. I only got a couple hands there available. There we go. Look at that. That will do. Look at that. Freaking like a 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay. That's tighter than I expected. I'm actually pleased with that. Yeah. All right. All right. Yes. That's good stuff, man. All right. Well, let's keep going. All right, guys, let's show you what I'm up to. I wanted it to go around my 9-inch lights, and then I wanted to fill this area with the 5-inch lights. Like that. In case you guys are wondering, what's this all about? These are going to be cut off. I'm coming in, and my thought was to have a bar go across like so. Okay? But to make everything look pretty, I put a couple of bends. These are going up to 45s. And then this, these are 5-inch lights. That gives me 5.5 inches. That gives me the same 1/4 inch that I have around this light across here on these lights. But like I said, that's going to go on like so to so. And I think that's going to freaking work. So that's the light bar. And with that, let's get back to work. This next part can either make or break the work I've done so far, so I'm taking my time. It's working, but some fine trimming needed to be done to get it just right. The wifey came out real quick to see what I was doing, so I showed her the plan shape with the cutouts in to give her the overall look of the light bar. Then I ground down the welds so that the bar would sit flat on the table. Clamped it down. And welded in the new piece, ensuring that the measurements were correct. After everything was welded up, I started grinding the excess. This is where you know I watched a little too much YouTube, because I pulled a Morgan Clark and pulled out the file to finish out the curve. This is something I've never done before. This is a technique I learned from Fab Diaries. It's a series on YouTube. It worked pretty well. All right, guys. See how this came out, shall we? So this is just preliminaries, but took the file to it. Filed it all down. Pretty much tried to grind as little as possible because I didn't want to make any huge gouges. Didn't always work out, but it's pretty smooth. So what I did is I took some flat black just for the heck of it and put it on there to see how that worked, how it looks. Now this stuff right there, that comes off. That's like it's little nubbins. It's like little lint and crap. So I'm not worried about that, but all in all, it looks pretty good. Solid. At least against my hand, right? Put it up against a few trees. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, it looks pretty good. So the next thing to do is to figure out how I'm going to mount it to the bug, because I do want it to come down. Not too far down, but down enough that it acts somewhat like a sun visor in a way, but mostly I like the thought of it being low profile. I don't want it to stick up. So if I can, I'd like it to be about there, in that area somehow, somewhere. But anyway. Alright guys, this is where I'm going to stop this video. It's getting kind of long and I have a lot of work left to do on this Lightbar. I will say that if you're doing something like this, check out that file technique that MCD1 does. That was pretty cool. It actually worked really well and smoothed out the corners. I still got some work to do on it, but the initial hit was actually quite well. I guess got to do the old fluff and buff right there. Stealing all the good ideas. I'm telling you, I'm trying. But this video is getting way too long, so I'm going to cut it off here, and we'll mount the lights in the next video. Till then, please like and subscribe. I'm Damien, and this is The Binder Builder. See you on the next one.